Thompson here from NEC, and thanks for joining me again on the SV9100 sales training course. And I'm going to take you through InReports. This is available on the SV9100 and the SL2100. So I'll take you through the overview and features, look at storage and backup. I'm going to do a live demonstration to show you just how easy it is to use, the business benefits, and where you can find some useful information. Okay, so InReports is a call management application that uses real-time SMDR data from the SL2100 and 9100, and then we can provide you with call lists, call reports, graphical information, and even wallboards. Now, the application is one of our in-apps, so therefore it runs directly from the SV9100 and SL2100 processor. So that means that there's no need for any external servers or PC for the software to run from. The customer simply accesses InReports via their own web browser. Because it's browser-based, that means that as many people as needed can access InReports, and that's at no extra cost. So there's no additional user license. They can have unlimited concurrent users, and of course each user can see different information on the screen when they're logged in. Another great feature of InReports is that it can be accessed from anywhere on the network. So if you're on the local area network or even working from home as a remote worker across the wide area network, you can access InReports. And you can access it via your PC, laptop, an iOS or Android tablet, or even your mobile device. So using your Windows PC, that will work in a fat or thin client environment supported by the various browsers, Internet Explorer, Chrome, Firefox, etc. If you're using a mobile device like an iPad or a tablet, we support iOS and Android, and again the various browsers that they support like Safari, Puffin and Xcode. A really cool feature of InReports is that we can link it to our InGuard application. That means that you can click on a link within InGuard to see which call records have triggered the alert. InReports gives you real-time information and all the information that you can see there on the screen. That's easy to show you on a live demonstration in a moment. Again, on the call list detail, you can see all the information that we can provide you on the call lists. But all of the data within InReports can be exported to a CSV file to allow you detailed data manipulation. Okay, so for storage and backup, well, calls are stored for a maximum of a year, and anything over that will automatically be deleted. However, don't worry, you will get warnings and pop-ups alerting you to that. There's also a really nice feature where you can have a storage policy where you can now select the number of months worth of calls you want to store, obviously between 1 and 12. This helps a company achieve their GDPR compliance regulations. On the SL2100 you can store up to 16,000 call records, and on the 9100 you can store up to 90,000 call records. To do a backup you can manually download from the application manager, and you can back that up to CSV so you can retrieve historic data anytime that you wish. Okay, so let's jump across onto my PC now, and I can give you a live demonstration on how easy it is to use InReports. Okay, so to access InReports, you open up a browser. I'm using Chrome, and within my favourites on my toolbar, I've got a shortcut to InReports. I click on that and it takes me to the login screen where you can log in with your credentials and just click the green arrow there. It takes you straight in. See how quick that was? And that's because you're running directly to the telephone system to view this information. So down the left hand side we've got various views and reports and lists. On the right hand side here we can select the date range or time range that we want to run the reports to. And just in the top right there, that's how you log out. So the first thing I'm going to do is actually choose let's say data for this month, and now everything that we do within here is going to show us that information for this month. So we've got call lists here for all calls, incoming, outgoing, barred, and missed calls or unanswered calls. So let's have a look at the all call list. Again, can't go through everything here because there's so much, but it will give you a good taste of what InReports is all about. And there's the information. The first thing I'm going to show you actually is, you can see here it's opened up a new tab. So we can still go back to the main menu. And what that means is I can run numerous reports and have them open as tabs along the top there. So we don't have to keep pressing the back key and go back and run the same report again. So that's really useful. So there's report, there's all the information on incoming calls there, or I can look at the all calls there. We have date, time, extension name, all the things that pass through from the PBX. It's also worth noting here that if you click any of the headers here, it will obviously filter the report by that. So if you want to filter it by name, then we can click name, ascending or descending. Okay, if we want to export this information, perhaps we want to manipulate it or put it into Excel and create some information around that, then you can export it here just at the top right by clicking that button, and they'll export it as a CSV file, put it into Excel for you, and there it is there ready. You open up Excel and there's the information. You may obviously need to adjust your columns accordingly, of course. So that's great. That's how quick and easy it is to export that report. Okay, so I'm going to go back to InReports. They're my call lists. Down here I have summary reports. These are really good as well. Now these are broken down by week, by day, by hour. We can have summary reports on the actual system, so the overview of the whole system, or extension, trunk, and even DDI. The good one to look at is the system overview. So it's a nice overview of the what's happening with the business. Again, don't worry too much about the actual data in here because this is taken from my demo kit, so obviously there'll be a lot more cool information on a live customer. But we can see here there's incoming unanswered, so that's an important one. We can see how many missed calls that we've taken for the month, or not taken should I say, how many internal, how many outgoing answered, and how many outgoing calls that weren't answered. So some good information there. But I draw your attention to this one here. Certainly if I was a business owner, I'd want to know how quick my staff are answering the phones to our customers. So the incoming answered, you'll see here we have an average ring duration of 12. Now that's not 12 rings, that's 12 seconds of course. So we are answering our customers on an average of around 12 seconds, which may or may not obviously be acceptable, but you could take obviously action. Now I personally, if I was a manager or an owner of business, I'd want to drill down into that and start seeing which members of staff, the performance for each member of staff, see how they're answering their calls. So you can obviously drill down into that by looking at an extension summary breakdown. And again, we can do that by week, by day, or even by hour. So if I look at the extension summary by, let's say, week, you can see here we've got David, reception, Mark, Jason, and so forth. So we can see here David, for this week, he's taken 41 incoming calls, the duration, the average duration, and here we go, average ring duration. So he's actually on 12 seconds as well. So his average time to answer for his 41 calls is 12. And again, you can start to use this information to manage people and their KPIs. Okay, go back to the main reporting page and we can look at some summary charts. I love these are fantastic. So if I show you the overall system, again, don't forget we're still doing this month. We can change that for a different date range there. If I go to the system summary pie chart, I think this is incredible that this comes out of the phone system. It doesn't come from a PC with software on it or a server or anything from the cloud. This is taken directly out of the telephone system. So we can see here graphically that 49 calls were answered, how many missed calls, how many internal, outgoing and outgoing unanswered calls in a graphical. And again, you can still export that into Excel. Okay, I'm going to close some of these reports down. Within summary charts, we can break that down by extension or an individual level or by trunk or DDI. We've also got bar charts as well. So I'll just quickly show you a system bar chart. Let's go by the hour. And there you go. You can see our incoming answered calls, outgoing in a bar chart format. Again, available to export. Okay, the next one I want to quickly jump into is Wallboards. Fantastic, and I'll explain why in a second. So you can provide a Wallboard information on trunk, extension, or even DDI. So let's have a look at the trunk information there. And this would be live. These numbers would be changing all the time if I was connected to obviously a working system. Okay, so there's trunk information there. I might want to go and look at my extension stats as a Wallboard, so we can see incoming unanswered, outgoing unanswered, internal calls, and the averages along there. But the really cool thing about this is obviously I can be running multiple extension groups there, and these appear as tabs. Now if you remember right at the beginning, I told you that There's no additional user license, so you can have as many people using this. So if you wanted 2 or 3 wallboards spread across the office or across the building, then you could do that at no extra cost. So different wallboards displaying different information. You can actually, and I've seen this done, you can actually download some free software from the internet that will allow that you can actually tell it to scroll across the tabs. So if you had a few of these open on tabs, and obviously you can put a timer on that, it will play this tab, and after 2 minutes it will play the next tab and so forth. You can actually do that. But because this is free user licenses, you could obviously spread this across multiple PCs and have physical wallboards up on the wall. So that's a really cool feature. And then the last one here is the most recent calls, and this really just gives you an overview of the last 30 call records coming in and out of the organisation. And that, everyone, is InReports. Let's jump back now into the presentation and summarise. Okay, so I hope you enjoyed that live demonstration. So let's look at some business benefits now that you can take forward to your end users. Well, obviously it monitors the entire company's communication. So everything in and out of the business it's going to report on. We can therefore manage and measure the productivity and efficiency of your department and your staff. So we can drill that down again into team or department and individuals. We can even monitor the call barring and anyone that's tried to make an unauthorised call. So it's a positive deterrent there for your staff. It will flag up that someone's tried to dial a barred number within the system. And probably the most important, certainly in my view, is that we can now manage the customer service level. So we can see how many missed calls that we've got. We can see our average time to answer. So we can manage those abandonment rates and obviously start adjusting the staff levels and the staff KPIs. It's a great motivational tool as well. So we can put wallboards up on the wall and members of staff can see how they are performing. Okay, so it's extremely cost effective. Obviously, if the customer requirements are a lot more and they want to start looking at scheduled reports and costings and alarms and notifications, then you have the great ability to then go and talk to them about our MyCalls call management product. It's built-in application, it's browser-based so the customer can access it from anywhere as long as they can get onto the network 24/7, 365. And again, because it's embedded, there's no extra PC or server required, so they can save on hardware and obviously IT maintenance. It's feature rich, which I'm sure you agree, and it's extremely easy to use. It's also a great demo to use for a customer, and I'll touch on that in just a second. And here you are, we have an end user, jargon-free YouTube video on InReports. It's only 4 minutes and 29 seconds long. So you copy this link, you email that to your customer prior to your appointment or meeting with the customer, and they can see what InReports is all about. So I get asked quite a lot, Nick, can you do a webinar for me? Customer wants to see InReports. This will suffice. This covers all the areas and the key benefits of InReports. So please use that as a demonstration tool to your customers. And there you have it, everyone. Thank you ever so much for your time. Any questions or any suggestions, please do not hesitate to reach out to a member of the NEC team or your NEC distributor. Thank you very much.